Good evening and welcome to the Drive at 5 on IntellectualRadio.com/iHeart radio station. I'm your host, Roman. We have a great show planned for you today. But first, the forecast from our IntellectualRadio.com Weather Center. Today, warmer with sunshine, giving way to clouds, high 71 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a couple of showers and thunderstorms, mainly early, low 56 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy with a couple of showers around, a thunderstorm here and there later, high 66 degrees. Tomorrow night, plenty of clouds with a bit of rain here and there again, low 52 degrees. What's up with all these 50s? The rest of the week forecast looks like this. Wednesday, rain and drizzle in the PM, high 58 degrees. On Thursday, clouds and sun, high 62 degrees. And on Friday, an afternoon thunderstorm, high 70 degrees. And guess what? On Saturday, 80 degrees. And guess what? On Monday, another 80. The Drive at 5 is part of the Monday Night Mogul with one sister to another with your girl, Angela Johnson, at 4 p.m. Straight No Chaser with your girl, Rhea Ray Harris, at 6 p.m. New Black Leadership at 7 p.m. Chronicles of Ron at 8 p.m. and The Dope Show at 9 p.m. The Drive at 5 is also part of the fabulous 5 at 5, only on IntellectualRadio.com. Today, my guest to my left is the one and only Melody Boykin. It's only a matter of days the Boykin part will be gone, right? Correct. Okay. Now, she's here for a special event called the annual Loop Us for Lupus. And you know, if you've been watching faithfully on the Drive at 5, she's not only a fashion model, she's a designer, she's an entrepreneur, she does everything. So welcome back to the Drive.
Thank you, Roman.
So tell us a little bit about this event that's coming up.
The annual Lupus event is an event dedicated to women who have survived lupus. So the event brings together all types of women who are entrepreneurs, but they have lupus. So it's advocacy for spreading the awareness about the disease among African American women in the community. So they get together and they display their businesses, whether they're products or services. So a lot of the women, for example, the founder of the organization, she's a caterer. She owns her own catering business, and you have some women who have traveling boutiques, other women who are jewelry designers, just a plateau of women who come together for charity purposes and fundraising and just spreading the awareness about what it is that they go through on a day-to-day basis with surviving and overcoming the illness.
Okay, so with that day-to-day basis, what is like the struggle of lupus? You have a family member that had, recently deceased with lupus. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it almost seems like yesterday, but it's been a number of years. I was graduated from college in 2007. And my sister came down. The last time I saw my sister was at my graduation. Immediately, 2 weeks later, on Memorial Day, 2007, she passed away from lupus. I actually was on vacation celebrating my graduation, and she was in the hospital and passed before I could even make it back to Chicago. So I knew the struggles with, weakness that they had, lack of energy. Sometimes they would, I know for my sister, it's the autoimmune disease, so it kind of like it's similar to sickle cell, so the body is not able to fight against various different things that may attack the body. So it's a blood disease, so she had to cope with taking all the medicine, breakouts, hives, butterfly rashes, just lacks of energy, discoloration of skin. It just attacks the body. Attacks all organs, can attack all organs of the body. So yeah, I understand, what the ladies go through. Swelling, sometimes they swell up in their hands, their feet, and they're stiff, they can't move. I remember in high school, I had to lift her because she couldn't move. That's how stiff she was. And if you ever seen an episode of Martin, you remember when Gina got the big lips. and her lips had swollen up. I mean, I had never seen anything like that. Like, how can someone's lips swell so big and eyes, swell so big? It's almost like she was in a fight, but she wasn't in a fight.
Now, as you explain the symptoms and stuff, how did the family cope with that? You said you had to maneuver your schedule. You had to, lift her up, do some things. Like if someone just recently was diagnosed, how would you explain to them how you can be helpful or an assistance to someone with lupus?
I think you should show them a lot of love. You should be very patient because, things that people normally were able to do, they may not be able to do it or equipped to do it as quickly as normally. And so you should be patient with them and you should be supporting and loving, offering them as much assistance as possible, knowing that, they're not able to um, really care for themselves at stages because the lupus is kind of, it comes and goes. There's flare ups and then there's not flare ups. So it's when they're not able to assist themselves the most, it's when they need, the support of the family.
Okay, when we come back on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station, we'll have more with Melody Boykin and the lupus. We're back on the Drive at 5 on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. My guest to my left is Melody Boykin, entrepreneur. Well, she does it all. She can explain that to you. What else you do?
Yeah, I think you summed it up. PR, marketing,
a jack of all trades. Okay. Joining us is Carlissa Thomas, and she is the founder, actually the owner / head chef of Purple Ribbon, right?
Yep, Purple Ribbon Chef.
Okay, and you're also the sponsor of this annual event called Lupus for Lupus, correct?
Yes.
So give us a background of your background in this part of...
Okay, so I'm actually a lupus survivor. I got sick and was diagnosed with lupus while in junior high school, and that was over 17 years ago. So while going through the different struggles that everyday people had to go through, I came along a lot of bumps in the road where when you have a flare, which Melody talked a little bit about, not being able to work and using up all of my FMLA and things like that. And when reaching out to organizations, I found that a lot of organizations out here were raising money to find a cure. There were no organizations really to help the individuals and the families of the individuals who are dealing with this disease on an everyday basis. And from that, in 2011, Lupus was born. I set up that organization to be a mediator for lupus survivors and their families with these other organizations, and also my organization being able to help individuals through fundraising, grants, and things like that when issues may arise that other larger organizations can't help with.
Many people suffer from lupus and diagnosed daily. What inspired you to come up with this annual Lupus for Lupus?
Well, 4 years ago, I actually met Melody, and I was like, I want to do something else. Like I said, in 2011, I started Lupus, and I have always done different things in the month of May to show my support for lupus. But over the years, it has just transformed to this amazing thing. This would be the second year where we're actually having lupus survivors who have had to start their own business due to having lupus come out, set up their shops, like a one-stop shop for all different things that lupus survivors do, to gain exposure for their business, and so that they can also have that income coming in, because that's one of the most difficult things with dealing with a disease that's so unpredictable, is having a steady income.
Melody, you met her. What was the green light sign saying we can do something?
I think she posted an ad on Craigslist or something.
Oh, wow.
About a photo.
Of all places, Craigslist?
Yeah.
I mean, Craigslist is a great place if you know how to work it. And so, so she posted an ad about photo. She wanted looking for someone to help with a photo shoot charity event. And I said, you know what? I would, and I told my mom was living at the time, and I said, no, I think I'm gonna respond to this, and I'm gonna get involved and see how I may be able to help with putting together a photo shoot charity event for lupus awareness. So then I think I reached out to her, and then went from there. I kind of helped her organize a few vendors to get on board for that event, and then we just kept doing it every year.
Yeah, and it's been awesome. Like, to end up hearing her story of her sister passing away with lupus and that connection that we had there, everything just fell into place.
Explain to me the entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Someone with lupus, we discussed earlier about the symptoms. You mentioned some of it as well, the tired, How can someone run a business with these ailments?
Sometimes I still don't know how I do it, but what I will say is that when working for someone else, I saw where I was working with a company who, once I worked for them for a year with no flares, because lupus is unpredictable. You can go years without anything serious happening with you. I worked for them for a year without any flares, and after that year, that next year was like really bad for me, where it was flare upon flare, and I saw them, trying to fire me, at every turn. And I end up hanging on for 3 additional years. And I thought to myself, it's really not their fault. Like, they have to make sure that their business keep running. And coming in contact with a lot of lupus survivors, I heard the same stories. Like, my job was not able to hold my job because I had to end up being out for 3 months. I ran out of FMLA, things like that. So I had to look back for myself. What do I know how to do? What did I go to school for originally? And that was baking and pastry arts and culinary arts. So I was like, I got to do what I went to school for and go back to my passion. That way I would be able to work around this evil schedule of lupus. And I've been able to do it. And eventually you kind of get people on board to help with the business, so that, your clients still know that they can depend on you. And within my contract, when I first started my business, I have like a sick clause. You don't have many companies who have that, but my clients know that I have lupus. Is right there in the name of my business, Purple Ribbon Chef. I'm open and upfront with them, and I let them know that if something arises where I can't be there, I have someone in my corner that can make it happen. And if not, you definitely, get all your money back. And we try to, find a replacement for you. And that has come about with a lot of lupus survivors, which everyone will definitely see this Sunday at our event.
You mentioned an acronym, FMLA, what that stands for.
So that's the Family Medical Leave Act. And within corporations and companies, you are allotted a certain amount of time that you can be off. And when many people think of it, they think of a woman being pregnant, because that's typically when it's used, but it's also used when people have ailments. And men can use it, women can use it, anyone can use it. And you can use it for helping a family member who may be ill and you have to be off. as well as yourself being ill, be off, or having a child. And you're allotted a certain amount of time that you can be paid. And after that time, it's no more money for you. So either if that job is nice enough, they can let you hold your job after that amount of time with, your doctor writing, oh, they need to be off another, a certain amount of weeks and things like that. But they legally don't have to. And that's the problem that we run into a lot of times. So it definitely feels as if we are discriminated against.
So you feel like people with lupus, not to cut you off,
Yeah.
but you feel like this MLA is that part of it. If you're fine, you're working, you're doing everything you can, but now it's a touch and go situation.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that if it runs out, it's like,
It's
oh,
gone.
well.
It's gone, and they necessarily don't have to keep you on board. And the thing is with lupus, it's called the invisible disease, because most of the time you can look at a lot of us and not tell what's going on in our bodies, and our bodies are fighting themselves every day. And when that comes to managers and owners of corporations and business, they're looking at you like you don't look sick, where you can probably look at someone dying from another disease and like, oh my goodness, you are dying, something is going on in your body. We can look perfectly fine, but our body is attacking itself. As Melody spoke about, how fast the transition was with her sister, it's literally plenty of us who have been fine for months, and you can go in the hospital on Monday and you're gone on Friday. And that's our reality.
So speaking of, and you faced this too, Melody, like 1 minute your sister was fine, the next minute, how did that coping mechanism, that like the touch and go, like one day she's fine, she's normal, the next day it's like total.
I think my sister went into remission for about 3 to 4 years, but then she got pregnant with my nephew, who's now 11 years old. I'm going on 12, and he was going on 2 when she passed. So I think her lupus went back into remission. She started getting sick again. So when she came to my graduation, she was already complaining she had a headache. Okay, so she was saying, oh, I don't feel good, I'm not going to make it, I have a headache. So 2 weeks later, when she ended in the hospital, and like 2 days later, I think she passed away, they said she had caught a case of meningitis. So you go in for one thing and take you out in 2 days. She was, pretty much gone. So, I mean, I kind of knew she wasn't feeling well 2 weeks before when she came. But again, it's one of those things that.
And that's definitely a difficulty with the ailment, because it's just attacking anything in your body. A lot of people, even when they pass away, they don't say they passed away from lupus, because they end up passing away from something else. And our immune systems are weaker because of this autoimmune disease. So we can have something take us out of here as simple as the flu or something like that. And many of us deal with kidney issues. Like you can be perfectly fine, and then your heart messes up. I've had where it's been inflammation around my heart. I just driving and then can't breathe, or having sharp chest pains, and you could be perfectly fine right before that. So that's the difficulty with the disease, and pinpointing everything with the disease, because it's attacking everywhere in your body. So anywhere on your body can be affected by it.
I did some research. Wilma Rudolph, the famous Olympic runner, won gold in track and field. She shined a big spotlight on the lupus disease. She was African American. Do you think many people are unfamiliar with lupus and needs more awareness, especially in the African American community?
Well, I'm actually very excited, because like I said, I've been dealing with this for 17 years. When I was first diagnosed, it was nothing out there about lupus. Now you can go and actually see billboards. It's on buses. So it has come a long way. Even in the last 4 years, I've met Melody, and we've been doing these events. Lupus awareness have come a long way. I think we still have a long way to go. But with that comes added struggles, because where people did not know about lupus and insurance companies and things like that, we would be able to get approved for life insurance and things like that. And now that it's out there, oh, this is a disease that can do anything, it's becoming more difficult for the people to have regular health care and also life insurance to be able to protect their families. Whereas, you can't be here for another 20, 30, even 50 years once having it, because everybody's case is different. But with the uncertainty and it being such an unpredictable disease, we have to deal with, those things that we may not have life insurance, you may not have good health care, because they know what has happened in the past with other people who have had lupus and they've been fine and then had a heart attack, or been fine and then kidney failure and things of that nature.
And then to add to that, lupus it just attacks anybody. Currently, Toni Braxton, if you watch the Braxton's Family Values, she has lupus, and in the last couple of years, she's been advocating and donating so much money to the National Association of
Lupus
Foundation of America. So she's been doing a whole lot, because she's a celebrity singer and she was diagnosed with it. So if you watch the show, you'll see her struggles with it. And she may not look like she got lupus, but she definitely has talked about her struggles, in being hospitalized and things of that sort. And I think she's helped. And there's some more famous
Nick
out there. Yeah.
Has lupus.
So when someone diagnosed, the first thing they would say, "Oh, it's just lupus." That's it, and they're uneducated about it. This conversation that we're having is educating a lot of people about lupus. The problem that I see, this is my opinion, it just seems like lawmakers are not really paying attention to the insurance, the healthcare needs. If I was a senator, if I was a state representative in the state of Illinois, what would you like me to do in order to, make life a little bit easier for a person with lupus?
So I've definitely, in my years, once I was in college, before I had my daughter and when she was younger, I worked with the Lupus Foundation of America a lot, going back and forth to Springfield. They actually just had some great success a couple of months ago with getting money put aside for lupus research. And that's where I'm seeing a lot of people focusing. And my issue with that is that a cure may not come in any of our lifetime. What are we doing so that people who are fighting this disease and even other diseases live the best life possible while here? So to go back to your question, like I spoke about before, making sure that we're focused on the real issues. Yes, we need money. We all want to find a cure to everything that's happening on this earth. That's perfectly fine, and I support it tremendously. But looking at things like biases when it comes to life insurance and healthcare, those I feel are the really important issues, because we deal with a lot. And I was at a part of a storytelling event on Friday, and most of the people that got up and spoke talked about depression and how they have wanted to kill themselves and had those times in their lives. And, it's a blessing that they got past that, but it's so many who don't, because it's like, it's no one out there. Who can I turn to? And that's why I made Lupus, where people can just reach out and call me, if you need someone to talk to, whatever. But we need that on a larger scale. We need that definitely on a larger scale.
So in essence, you're saying that, okay, there's no support group for a person with lupus, so they could talk amongst each other, share stories, and support one another while going through this?
Well, there definitely are smaller support groups that other organizations like myself have started. It's about finding them and getting connected to them. And that's what I say, like I kind of act as a liaison for that here in the Chicagoland area, because we have a great organization, Living with Lupus, Life Living with Lupus support group that just became a nonprofit last year off of the South Side. And they have done some amazing things with just having a group every month of women that's able to come together, but making people feel comfortable and doing this on a national level. People are focusing on finding a cure, and that's great. And we hear that with breast cancer and everything else. But I feel like mental health and that support needs to be on a larger scale. And you shouldn't have to dig so hard to find things like that. It should be readily available.
Let's talk about your chef. What type of foods would you recommend someone who is suffering from lupus to eat to keep their energy up? As a chef, you know these things.
Yeah.
So if I'm listening to or watching on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station, and I'm suffering through this, what kind of foods do I need?
Some things that I've kind of just learned along the way with us dealing with a lot of inflammation, taking in foods that help combat inflammation. So using turmeric in a lot of your cooking and in smoothies. Beets are awesome.
What is turmeric?
Turmeric is a spice. You would find it more in like curry dishes and things like that. It's yellow. So it turns everything yellow, but it really doesn't have a potent flavor. So you can put it in smoothies and everything and get the nutrients that you need from that for things like lupus and other conditions. Because even at Mariano's, they have it in smoothies, and it's just a inflammation fighting fresh like herb that they use. Beets are also really good, but staying away from things like my delicious butter cookies that I brought you.
Yeah, you have
the staying away from and doing that sparingly. Sweets and sweets and breads and things like that. Staying away from things of that nature. And when you do eat fruits and vegetables, try to eat them fresh. And if not eat them fresh, like blanched, you want to try to have your vegetables where it still has a crisp to it. Many people cook out the nutrients, and then we want to add back and all seasoning salt, black pepper, all of this stuff. And we're making those things bad now. Like we defeated the purpose of what they were here for. So, doing things like that, trying to stay away from
fried chicken,
fast foods and fried foods. And it's great, have it sometime. But if you care about yourself, like it's things that you can do to help prolong your life and to help combat some of the things that we deal with. Like you said, fatigue and energy is always a big issue. And when you're having that heavy stuff and that stuff that's bad for you, any person will be weighed down and, tired. You know how we eat a big plate of soul food and we're ready to go to sleep. So you can't do that if you know you're already a person with fatigue and have to combat this stuff every day. So eating fresh fruits and vegetables is the best.
What kind of fresh fruits and vegetables? Because again, a lot of people say, okay, you got to eat fresh fruits, you got to eat vegetables. If I'm in a supermarket, okay, she said I need fresh fruit and vegetables, but there's certain kind of fresh fruits and vegetables.
Right.
What kind are they?
So the go-tos for me for the help with the inflammation, like I said, are beets, and you can do those fresh or dry. Broccoli is a really good combating food. My go-to is the yellow squash. Zucchini, which I just cooked when I left the house today.
Sounds good. Okay.
Some other good ones, like red potatoes is good. You don't want to do too much of that because that can be heavy. But sweet potatoes are the best. Like if you can just bake a sweet potato and eat that without a whole bunch of butter and a whole bunch of sugar and not making candy yams out of it. Those have a lot of nutrients in it for your body.
So you can just get some sweet potatoes, bake it
without all that other jazz.
Okay.
And it actually tastes good. Like it really does. And a lot of this stuff tastes good with a little fresh cracked pepper and salt on it and not a whole lot of smothering in anything.
What about a baked potato?
You can do a baked potato, but white potatoes really don't have a lot of anything. So you just that's a filler food. You just eating and to get full. Where a sweet potato has nutrients in it, you're getting something from that. And to me, the taste from a sweet potato and a baked potato is not really, different. Like, yeah, you can go buy a ton of white potatoes for a little cheaper, But sweet potatoes are not too expensive either. So
When you talk about foods, you're also talking about organic. Please explain the difference of organic. They have a lot of organic, let's say beets versus beets.
right. Yeah.
I mean, is organic better? In this situation, or somebody shaking their head no?
Right, because I'm not a big.
What's the difference?
The only thing is that some of these companies, everything is about money here in the U.S. Some farms are paying them a certain amount of money to be considered USDA organic, and a lot of the organic farms still do a lot of stuff that the other farms do, but they may have removed. They have a list of 10 things. So say they have a list of 10 things, and they're like, okay, to be USDA organic, you got to take 3 of those things off the list. So they take 3 of those things off the list. Now they consider USDA organic. So I'm not a big person where you need to spend $5 more on something. If
but a lot of people, and sorry to interrupt, a
no
lot
problem.
of people are not familiar with that, because when you think of organic, there's no pesticide, there's no
amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, this is opening my eyes to say, wow, it's only 3 ingredients they leave out, and that's it. A lot of people don't know that.
Right, and when thinking about fruit and vegetable. Just going for stuff that has seeds. That means that it's real and natural. If it's going to be growing, it has seeds in it. And if you're getting something that has seeds in it, whether that be organic or not organic, you know, if the organic's on sale, I say go for it, because those 3 things are off the list. But if it's not, you can get away with getting the regular fruit and vegetables.
What about eggs?
Eggs. I like cruelty free more, because they do a lot of stuff. Is it
like organic eggs?
It's kind of but not all cruelty free eggs are organic eggs. They wouldn't mark them as organic eggs. They do cost a little more, but that's just like a mental thing, because the egg is gonna taste the same way. I haven't cracked the egg and was like, oh my goodness, this egg right here, it tasted like an egg to me. It's just, I guess you want to kind of stand up against certain farmers and their practices, type of a thing. That's all that is.
So Melody, all this information, what would you think?
I learned something from Carlisa. I eat all her good food. Now, something you guys don't know about me is that I overcome diabetes. So, again, diabetes is one of the things you might look good unless you ain't got something amputated or it's blown up, dialysis or something. You wouldn't know a person who has diabetes. But she makes sugar-free cupcakes for me, and sugar-free a lot.
Now, these cookies are sugar-free, right?
Those are not sugar-free.
Those are
Oh, no. Okay.
Those are regular bad butter, sugar, everything bad. Cookies.
Oh, everything's bad.
Everything bad.
Oh, so
bad but delicious.
But give me the bad stuff, right?
It's badly delicious.
But she does.
Well, Earl, I'm giving those to you.
No, but I do cater to, like Melody said, all different people from all different walks of life. I definitely represent a more healthier aspect when it comes to my catering. I do meal prep weekly for people, for them to take food to work. I kind of started that for myself with my busy schedule, with being a single mother of 2 and running a business. You would find yourself wanting to stop and eat out and things like that. So I'm like, okay, if I put these meals together and I start posting that, and people are like, okay, I want those meals. So I was like, okay, let's make it a part of the business.
Kind of dishes? What kind of dishes?
So I do a lot of grilling. So like grilled salmon, grilled chicken breast. Like I said, zucchini and squash I am in love with. Asparagus is one of my favorites. And putting that together with like quinoa and brown rice and different grains that, like, I just may walk into the store and like, oh, I ain't never cooked this grain before. Let me try it out. So I like trying new things, especially if it's going to give me some nutrients and not just a filler food where I'm just eating to be saying I'm eating and I can get some nutrients out of it. With having a disease like lupus, I'm all for it. I'll try it at least once.
You mentioned chicken breast.
Yes.
there's a lot of chickens that's out there.
Yes.
And a lot of people, somebody's shaking their head. Which kind of chicken would you recommend someone would?
Well, I would say like depending on the store and things like that you go to, you have to do your research because I saw an article a couple of months ago talking about the practices of these butchers and making the meats look back real. So it's like the integrity. What's the integrity of your supermarket? Do you feel comfortable with your on the corner supermarket, or do you know someone who works there that can kind of give you insider tips? Mariano's, would you go to Mariano's or Jewel's? You know, kind of looking at their stuff and watching their practices to see. And then when it comes to like name brand, like Purdue and different name brands, Tyson that's out here, it's information on
What
the
about
World Wide.
Butterball?
Yeah, and Butterball, like it's information out here on the World Wide Web. It's like, did you do your research to see if they do have cruelty practices or if they are just throwing labels on something saying it's one thing when it's not? Because that's what a big thing is, like with the USDA, like they can smack labels on this stuff and call it something just by not doing one thing or two things or three things. And you're like, oh my goodness, and you're spending $5 or $6 more on them when you could have went with a cheaper brand and the meat was going to be just as good if you're dealing with a retailer who has integrity, because that's what it looks like that we're looking at right now, if that the retailer you're shopping from has integrity.
Tell us more about the annual event called Lupus for Lupus.
Yeah, so our Lupus extravaganza is in its 4th year, and it's going to be this Sunday, May 28th, at the historic, one of our sponsors, Southside Community Arts Center in the Bronzeville area, 3831 South Michigan. And that's going to be from 1 to 5. As I spoke about a little bit before, this is the 2nd year that we added a little spin to it. Definitely come out, hear stories from people who have had lupus, wonderful poetry about what it's like to kind of live with lupus and go through that. But now we have added this aspect where you can come and support those who have lupus and who have had to start businesses and who actually have great businesses. And my goal even is with some that are just starting out is to have entrepreneurs who have been in the game a few years come and give pointers and, be able to point these businesses in the right direction so that they last, because that's not just a problem with someone dealing with an ailment, but just within the African American community, period. We'll start something, but everybody doesn't have that help to kind of push them over or to lead them to where it is that they should be going. And I wanted to kind of be that liaison for all of these people here are women. But I do want to point out, because I don't know if you all pointed it out before, 10% of people who are diagnosed with lupus are men. And this does affect men as well. It definitely does affect men, so we definitely don't discriminate, and we do put that out there as well.
Where they can purchase the tickets and get a hold of you and Melody.
So the event is free, and we have sponsors that are going to be out. Arby Lash doing esthetician service, facials. We have a Feathers Touch that's going to be doing free massages. We have free makeovers that's going to be done. It's going to be awesome. Just head over to our Facebook page, and that's facebook.com/loopus for lupus, LOOPUSFORLUPUS. So Loop Us for Lupus at Facebook. And from there, you can have the link to our Eventbrite page, because we do want to still keep account of everybody that's coming out, because we are going to have goodie bags, which we have some great
cookies
sponsors.
will be in there.
We're going to have food there. So
Okay.
I'm thinking about doing a jerk chicken salad, macaroni, it's going to be some good stuff, but I'm going to have some healthy stuff too.
Yeah.
But we want them to come out.
Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Melody, how do they get a hold?
Well, you can find me on Facebook at Black Fashion Year for Black Fashion.
All right. And hopefully we'll have you guys back on with a cookbook for people with
Absolutely.
lupus. That's an idea I'm pitching.
Yeah, I actually have been trying to get time to do that because I end up speaking on that a whole lot. So Purple Ribbon Chef is working on that, and hopefully you'll have us back to talk about that.
And your restaurant? You have a restaurant?
No, we actually use commercial kitchens right now, but find us on Facebook under Purple Ribbon Chef.
All right. Thank you so much. I can't wait to dive
us.
into these cookies.
Enjoy.
Okay. When we come back on IntellectualRadio.com/iHeartRadio station, the Drive at 5 keeps rolling along. Embrace your natural beauty. When we come back, we'll have Nicole McClurkin from Natural Meat. Right back. And we're back on the Drive at 5 on IntellectualRadio.com/iHeartRadio station. My next guest wants African American women and men to embrace their natural beauty. Please give a Drive at 5 welcome to Nicole McClurkin. Welcome to the Drive. See, I practiced that all throughout the day.
You did excellent job.
I just had to roll McClurkin.
Roll those R's.
Right.
Roll those R's.
Please give IntellectualRadio.com/iHeartRadio station your background.
So again, my name is Nicole McClurkin. I am a natural-based company. The name of my company is Natural Me with an I, no space. And I make natural products for your skin and hair. How I got my start, I actually grew up natural. My father was,
How can somebody not grow up natural?
Well, when I say I grew up natural, okay, so for example, if you got sick, you may go out and get Vicks Vapor Rub, or you may use lotion. Well, we didn't. We used everything natural. So, such as we would use olive oil as opposed to using lotion. We would use baking soda to brush our teeth, just different things of that nature. My parents were very big proponents on cleaning us out. So, so as I got older, one of the things that I did not particularly care for was the fact that there was not enough natural products out here. And, you go into corporate America, they want you to look a certain way. So I did the straight hair and all of that, the processed hair. But my lifestyle didn't match. I'm eating right, I'm exercising, but something was missing. My hair wasn't natural. So
it was nothing but ultra perm. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, ultra perm.
Okay.
So in going out and looking for products, I wasn't pleased with prices and some of the ingredients or even the quality. And so that's how Natural Me came about. I was making it for years, and People were stealing my friends' jars or even dipping into the jars and taking products out. And they kept pushing me, get it out to the public. So here I am.
Now you're saying that, okay, you make this from home. These are handmade, right? Handmade products right here.
Yeah.
So describe to us on our intellectualradio.com/iHeartRadio station why you want people to embrace their naturalness, their natural me.
Okay, so the reason why I want people to embrace their naturalness and using natural me with an I is because there are so many products out here that are harmful to us. We don't realize that sometimes, and I won't mention names, but some of the top, names and deodorants may have, carcinogens, and carcinogens are things that cause cancer. So if they're full of toxins, they're full of things that actually do our body harm. One of the biggest things that I want to mention is petroleum jelly. Everybody is using petroleum jelly. That is one of the biggest carcinogens on the market. If people would really...
Are you talking about such as Vaseline?
Well, I didn't want to mention the name.
Oh,
but,
I'm sorry.
But yes. But
sorry about
that's
that.
what it is, though. Yeah, it's a petroleum.
Okay.
And so it's imperative that we take that shift and go natural, so that we can prevent a lot of ailments. We don't have to walk around with all these ailments. We're causing a lot of the ailments that are, that are out here and that we have. So.
Now, doing this, I did some research, and you know what popped into my head? Alexander O'Neal. He had this song called Fake.
Yeah.
and you're like, you're fake. Do you think African American women are pressured because they are called fake, because they're not going natural, or this is not fake eyelashes, fake this? It's like you're a fake, baby.
Well, personally, I think that everyone should just embrace their natural beauty. As far as, the fake eyelashes, fake nails, or what have you, if that's what it takes for you to feel confident, fine. However, I like to subscribe to a more natural way, in just natural beauty and using what God gave me. So I think that's true natural beauty. I don't think men want to be surprised, once you take the lady home.
Oh, now you got that "I'm gonna get you sucker" image in there.
Right, when the hip comes off.
Describe your products to our listening audience. What you have here.
So one of my main featured items are my Chic shea butters. They are shea butter based cream that are fortified with many essential oils. The ingredients that I use are for healing. So my purpose, I'm not here to make people look good and smell good, because you could do that by yourself. But I figure, why not have it all, where you can look good, smell good, and heal good.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're not supposed to say the word healing, but I'm going to say it because I know what God gave us. He gave us this earth to help us to heal. So those are the types of ingredients that I use in my products. So the Chic Shea Butter, you are able to use it from head to toe, or as they say in the South, from the rooter to the tooter. And everything I make is healing. So my shower gels are healing. I make sugar scrubs. You need to exfoliate, which we need to exfoliate. I make burning oils.
And this is what I'm holding.
That's what you're holding.
Oh, okay, what is the burning? As soon as I...
Yeah, so it's a fragrance enhancer. So instead of using candles, I prefer to use burning oils. They tend to permeate the room much quicker than a candle. So, and I also make body oils. And one of the key ingredients, and I don't mind sharing because it's my job to help people to heal, but one of my key ingredients is olive leaf extract and oregano oil. Those two oils are antifungal, antiviral, antimicrobial. Any anti you can think of, they're in my products. My aim is to help people to heal. So my products promote healing.
So all of this is, each product are handmade,
Yeah.
and people can use this every day.
Yes. Yes. So with the sugar scrubs, that's the only thing that I would suggest that you don't use every day. You use that anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week, and you can use that on your face as well. If you do it more, you might, you're exfoliating, so you're taking the dead top layer of skin off. But if you do it more than that, you could actually damage your skin. I do use sugar. I know some people want salt, but I went with sugar because I believe that a lot of us tend to suffer from high blood pressure. So I did the sugar. But you're not ingesting it. But remember, our skin is our largest organ. So just things to keep in mind.
We're running out of time, but I have 2 questions. Some people have sensitive skin. Does your product cater towards people with sensitive skin?
Yes, and I'm very happy to say so because I have sensitive skin. So that was one of the other reasons why I needed to come up with products that that I could use and not have my skin bothered. And also, instead of just taking my word for it, you can go on my Facebook page, which is Natural Me with an I, no space, and read the reviews on Facebook. I mean, people are healing all over the place. I'm so excited.
Now, is there a difference between why men natural beauty versus women natural beauty products? Is there a difference?
I think, well, within my products, there's really no difference. Everyone has the same skins, same hair, or what have you. Anyone can use it. But I just think that the whole thing with the beauty industry is all about marketing. So, things are more just marketed to women more so than men. Now there are men lines that are coming out. I do have some men fragrances that, my Fresh and my King. Men tend to like those 2 fragrances. So yeah, they.
I want to try that.
Men.
Yeah.
Sure.
Helps me with my crusty feet.
We won't tell anybody.
Right. Well, we wish we had more time. So go ahead and say how people can get your products. Okay.
Sure. So you can check me out at naturalme.com, and that's naturalmi.com. You can also catch me this weekend. I'm going to be in Southtown doing the 2nd annual Entrepreneurial Small Business Expo. It's this Saturday from 12 to 4, and it's free. So come on out. It's at the Southland Center, and that's 10 South Drive in Linwood, Illinois. And so it's free, everyone. Come on out, get some food, and purchase products.
All right. Thank you so much. Don't be a stranger to the Drive at 5 and the IntellectualRadio.com family.
Thank you for
That's
having me.
No problem. That's going to do it for us on this Monday afternoon. Thanks to Earl Winfrey, our executive producer, Rhea Ray Harris, who's behind the scenes, and Wanda as well. Rhea Ray Harris is up next with Straight No Chaser. Join me next week with a brand new, it's already new, but live show on Memorial Day. We're going to have the Flip-Ins with some cooking down home. I'm sorry, but I get excited. Food coming up on Monday. Have a good week, everyone.